you stand up there, a moderator asks you a question, I can tell you whatever I want. And I'm completely controlling the message. And then the next candidate is either asked the same question or a different question. So I'm going to tell you, who is challenging the candidates on a point that they make? I mean, what venue have we had, and I can't create these venues on my own, right? What venue has there been for the last 6 months where anybody has been able to challenge anybody on any particular point?
So we need to do that here in Muskogee.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and get it going.
You create an actual debate format where there's challenging. I think I would flock to it because I seek that kind of an opportunity, right? So that's been a frustration, that there isn't a mechanism to do that. I think there's also a frustration where if you would be the first one to say, look, there are some not good things going on, you then are probably going to be looked at as a person who went negative. Well, is it going negative to reveal the truth? I want the voters to know what they're buying into when they cast a particular vote. Because if you're willing to do certain things to get elected, aren't you willing to do certain things to stay elected? What is the pattern of behavior that leads up to this point? It's a predictor of the pattern of behavior that goes forward from this point. So where have we had mechanisms in place, to allow something like that to occur?
I've seen a lot of negative, not negative coming out, but I can see the undertow that you're getting. A lot of the undertow that.
Yeah, and it's word choice. And people shouldn't go negative, and that should not happen.
Yeah. It's asymmetrical though. Negative is asymmetrical. The attack with a negative ad has got to be, you have to have so much more energy to counter that negative ad. Yeah. It's asymmetrical warfare.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I don't think anybody should go negative, but how is the public informed of the reality, I guess is what I'm at. My whole life, essentially, especially my adult life, is absolute public record. You were paying my salary in uniform. We can go to the pay records, you can see exactly what I was making in a particular year, where that's coming from.
Well, we're getting a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about transparency, I mean, valuations, all that stuff. I've got it on a CD, back at the house. You don't have to go FOIA it. So, everything I've got's out there public record. I'll ask any question you care to. Other people who have not been in my kind of lifestyle, transparency comes with the job, right? And that is not the case in other areas. So the frustration, the surprise is the lack of real interest of so many people to actually get beneath whatever the propaganda is that's coming from any of us. And I'm telling you all kinds of things. There's nobody in here challenge me on it. Certainly isn't another candidate saying I'm off base. So I think you all need to do whatever is necessary, not just here, but in Poto and Claremore and Durant and everywhere else, to really get behind, the nice little one-liners and the Rush Limbaugh talking points and some of the propaganda that comes out on little sub-sheets like this. You need to get down into the truth and dig into somebody's past and see if that's the person you want representing you in Congress. The ISQ was good.
I got one more, and I'll shut up. Was there what reason did we go to Iraq? I mean, what reason? Was it to tell, I'll just say a couple of things. Was it to tell China to stay out of Taiwan? Was it to tell Japan to not go nuclear? That we're going to take care of our friends and take care of the people? What was it?
There was a convergence of events. I mentioned before how when you start doing something, it changes the conditions and now other things are possible. I know I was having a conversation with that with somebody else. If we weren't anywhere in the region and you really thought Saddam Hussein was a really, really bad guy, they were producing nuclear weapons, the effort that it takes to invest forces in the region, to build up and actually undertake operations is huge, very, very difficult. By virtue of the fact that we were already in the region conducting operations into Afghanistan, and you had a buildup in Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar, and these other places, you now had a positional advantage and forces on the ground and an ability to do things that you didn't prior to 9/11. So that was an environmental condition. Now, the years leading up to that, Saddam Hussein had undertaken a pattern of behavior that anybody outside of his regime could only interpret one way. So if you have international arms inspectors, the IAEA that goes in, and they're trying to ferret out the truth on a suspected nuclear program, but the Iraqis behave in a way that breeds additional suspicion. Because you're moving things, you've got trucks moving stuff, you're delaying the inspectors getting from one place to another, you're bugging their hotel rooms, it goes on and on and on. How do I interpret that? You must be hiding something. And if I'm the President of the United States and I'm concerned about the safety of the American people and my good friends over in Europe and other places, I feel it's incumbent that I need to do something. And then, again, the seeds of their own destruction, the way he ran the country, where I threaten any of the folks working for me. And if you don't do exactly what I tell you, I'm gonna have your wife raped, I'm gonna kill your kids, I'm gonna lop off arms, your family will cease to exist. I mean, that's the way he ran Iraq. So if you're a scientist working for Saddam Hussein and you want to know the progress being made in your chemical weapons program, regardless of the truth, what do you think you're going to tell Saddam? Boss, we are on track, right? And we have got this stuff, the inventory is such. So he was being fed lies by his own people. But those lies then are propagated out into the global environment. You're the United States, you can't see inside that to see what the truth is. You've got no solid intelligence, so I have to make a decision based on the best available evidence. Chemical programs, biological programs, nuclear programs, the support of terrorism worldwide, which he was involved in. And you know that this is a really bad, evil guy. Well now, post 9/11, I'm actually in the region. I have intelligence assets in place, I have strike aircraft, I have forces building up in Kuwait. Can we take care of two birds with one stone? That's the argument that led up to the decision to invade in 2003. And I was at Central Command, I was inside the Pentagon when those deliberations were going on. So that's how we got there. Now, post-2003, messed it up again. Yeah, it was, when they find out the truth behind it, there wasn't anything there, or it had been abandoned 50 years ago. Saddam Hussein didn't even.
Do you think Saddam Hussein had weapons trucked into Syria?
I do, into the Bekaa Valley. Just prior to the invasion, there was all kinds of overhead imagery and intelligence reports of convoys moving from suspected weapons storage sites into Syria, into the Bekaa Valley. The Bekaa Valley is controlled by Hezbollah and by forces that were sympathetic.
That doesn't sound good.
It is not good. You want to look at southern Lebanon right now with Hezbollah and all the munitions that they have. Those things were supplied by Iran via a tortures chain into Syria, and Syria supporting Hezbollah. And the Iranians, the Israelis are expecting another little dust up with Hezbollah with a lot of that stuff. So I'm very concerned about it.
Is Netanyahu going to attack Iran before the election?
I don't think he knows. I mean, the debate is that much. Again, it goes to intelligence. How certain are you that a program is at a certain level of maturity? Will the U.S. help or not? I wouldn't be confident in Barack Obama. So am I on my own? Do I have enough strike aircraft to hit all the targets that have now been deeply buried and hardened? And yet if I don't, they'll get a nuclear capability.
They'll go deeper.
They'll go deeper. The more time you give them, the more time they have to tunnel in. So there is already a war going on. They're killing off the scientists with the Stuxnet virus and take out the centrifuges. There's a lot of activities that are in place. Whether they carry out an actual strike in the next 6 to 9 months, that's being debated by the Israelis themselves. So I don't think we can really come to a definitive conclusion right here. Big hook, tell me when you're done talking. Okay. Well, thanks for having me here. Again, I'm very optimistic about days ahead. I need somebody who's here to help out.
Appreciate it. I'm sure you'll hang around if anybody wants to ask any other questions. Next meeting will be May, I believe it's the 17th, whatever that third Thursday is in May. I believe it's the 17th. Is that right, Jim? Okay, so we'll be back here that night then. So appreciate it.
State convention's May 11th and 12th?
Yeah. State convention May 11th and 12th, right. And then the primary is June
26th.
June 26th. Let's see what we can do.
We're gonna have a second district meeting in Rogers County before the primary. And we're gonna try to get everybody there. And I'd like to see a good old fashioned duke them out, but, you know, knock them out.
I think it serves the public interest, I really do. If I can't hold my own and defend my positions, then I don't need to be representing them. And I would hope that everybody else feels the same way.
Good.
And if everybody votes for me in this room, I would be so thrilled.
No matter what a bunch of people are in here. Okay, thank you for being here with me.